Hello there, welcome to Prequel, Sequel, Requel, the show where we pick a film or a franchise and give it a prequel, a sequel, and a requel. Happy New Year, first of all. We're back. We had a little bit of time off, but we're back now in full flow with the comedy panel show that grabs a film and rings it for some juice or something like that. If you're watching on stream, on YouTube, Twitch, all those places, thank you and welcome. We're going to bring our panelists straight in this evening. First of all, he's a regular. You know him and I know him. He's your friend and mine, comedian, singer, poet, I think. Is Eddie French?
Yeah, and then he said, ring it for some juice. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hey, Chris, Happy New Year, man. How you doing?
Happy New Year. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I've got my ringing gloves on, ready to juice Thelma and Louise for all they're worth.
That could be. We could have a new catchphrase straight away in the new year.
I think so. New year, new catchphrase. I think that's it. Yeah. It's going to be, we're not going to hear "It's all to play for" anymore. We're going to go, oh, there's still some juice to wring out of this one, so let's go into the prequels.
Oh, that's so 2020. That phrase now, it's gone
completely. Yeah, 2021, mate. Forward looking.
Yeah. How's your week been? All right.
Yeah, it's not been too bad.
Good.
I mean,
you got a new gaming chair? Is that it behind you?
I do have a new. Yes, I've got a new gaming chair. Wonderful things you can find on Facebook Marketplace. So if anyone's interested in buying my old one, yeah, Facebook Marketplace. You can find stuff other people don't want, but you might.
You can indeed. There's a ton of pianos on there. I found out the other day. Get yourself a grand piano. People are having to move out due to the horrible situation everybody's in at the moment. So they're having to get rid of these big pianos that in the front rooms. It's true.
Yeah, so it's true. So if you're in the market for a twopenny outright, or indeed 7 twopenny outrights, you can get yourself them whenever you want. But yeah, it's good. You can learn something new in lockdown 3.
Yeah. Speaking of somebody who's always upright.
Upright and early.
Oh, very good, very good. An upright citizen. There you go. It's your friend of mine. She's a comedian. She does it all. She's a bloody talent. Is this one? Let's bring her in. It's Natalie Smeaton.
she's a clutch at straws. She does bath bombs. That's what
I was gonna mention you were, but then I thought you're not there at the moment. So that's
no one is. It's the first show of the new year. He's had a couple of weeks off. Come on, he's just shaking the rust off a little bit. He's been on the gin.
You said upright as well. I wasn't upright for parts of Christmas. I'm going to be honest.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, as in drunk, not as in doing anything naughty.
That reminds me, it's an adult show. This so might be a bit of language. Might be a bit of language tonight. There might not be.
No, there might not.
Yeah, there might not be. There might not be.
We'll find out. Did Santa come and see you both? Did he bring you some presents?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. What did you get?
I just got a bit of coal, me. Yeah.
Been a bad girl.
Some money.
Or as they call them in Wales, an apple. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on my new laptop. This is the first thing I've ever done on it ever. Congratulations. Well done, you.
Oh, right. Is this your new laptop? Nice.
This is the new laptop.
I wondered why you didn't look like your 8-bit.
Yeah. High definition, Nat. This is crazy.
It is.
Forgotten what you'd actually look like after a year.
This is the trouble. You can see all my lines now. I can't hide behind the Vaseline screen anymore.
Don't worry, love. You look lovely. Speaking of looking lovely, I always find a plug somehow. We've got a special guest for you, as always, on this show. We have a special guest. You don't just want your regular panelist. You want someone with a bit of class. And tonight, we have got someone with a bit of class because she's all the way from Harrogate, or as they like to call it, Harrogate. Harrogate. She's a comedian, improviser, artist, singer. She's done it all, this lady. It's none other than our old friend, Mandy McCarthy. Hey. You all right?
I'm good. I thought you were going to link me with the Vaseline.
I'll never link someone with Vaseline.
I wouldn't do that to you. You're a guest. I have regard for our guests. I'd link one of these with some Vaseline easily.
Yeah, unlike you and Eddie, he respects you, Mandy.
We've got speaking of
It's what you call it, respect.
Happy New Year, Bob.
Happy New Year, Bob. Yo.
Happy New Year, Bob.
Look at Bob's photo. There's a photography. Bob, he does some really nice photos.
He's good, isn't he?
I wonder if that's Cornwall.
I don't know. I think it was Scotland.
Oh, I see. Did you recognise it, Chris?
Isle of Skye. It's the Isle of Skye, that.
Oh, right.
I've got no idea. I'm basing that on nothing other than I just know it's a place that he's probably been to the States before. So it might be. Bob, can you tell us in comments where you are there, and we'll have a look. So you can leave a comment joining with the show tonight. I'll put a couple of banners up. There we go. Luckily, it's the right ones. That's that. So we'll look at comments as we go tonight. Now, if you just join us for the first time this evening, the show is basically we pick a film, and these guys are going to come up with a prequel, a sequel, and a requel for the film. Tonight's film was chosen by Mandy, actually, as our guest. The guest gets to choose, and we're doing Thelma and Louise.
Oh,
yeah.
I know.
Oh, it's a
good
film.
Directed by Ridley Scott. Interesting choice there for him back in the day. But yeah, so these guys are going to pitch those prequel, sequels, and requels. They get a minute to do so. Then they can ask each other a question after each little bit and try and put them on the spot. We just got it was in Scotland. I was right. Look, eventually,
Well done,
Scotland. There, I know my Scots.
Oh.
I used to work with two of them, two Scots. I know them.
And now and as a result, you can recognise any landmass in Scotland.
Yeah. Actually, interesting. To go with this film, Ridley Scott directed this. There was a guy at work called Scott Ridley.
He was, yeah.
You couldn't make that up, could you?
You couldn't make it up, honestly. Right then. So what I like to do before we get kicked off with the show, I'm going to give you a quick. If you've not seen this film for a while, I'm going to read the back of the DVD box to you. This is how they sold it back in the day, just to get you in the right frame of mind for the film. Here we go for this one. Thelma and Louise tonight. Fasten your seatbelts because two of Hollywood's hottest stars are taking it on the road in a high-speed adventure that bristles with the thrilling, life-affirming energy for which the best road movies are remembered. Directed by Ridley Scott and starring Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis, Thelma and Louise is provocative, poignant, and a triumph of movie making, but it doesn't really tell you a lot about the plot, that does it at all? I just realised.
It uses the words life-affirming, but no.
So basically,
there is a certain joie de vivre.
I mean, that really doesn't help you with the plot all of the film, does it? So basically,
maybe if you described the plot, it would put people off.
Yeah, I mean, Gina Davis is at home, isn't she, with her husband who's a bastard, basically, and she decides to go on a trip with Louise. Yeah, that's right. And on the way, a guy tries to, in the
sexually assaults her,
yeah, he does sexually assaults her in the car parking lot. Susan Sarandon's character shoots him dead, and then they go on the run, basically. So spoilers if you've not seen the film, you need to know all this anyway. And then they have police chases, all this stuff happens, and then at the end they've got the famous bit where they drive out into the canyon, they grab each other's hands and say, let's keep going.
Drive off the cliff.
They actually commit progressively lesser crimes as they continue through. But at the end, if they'd not have driven off the end, I imagine they'd have committed truant and maybe photocopied a library book right at the end.
Hang on, we will find out what could have happened and what might have happened tonight.
That's not in any of my stuff, but yeah.
Might have been somebody else's though.
You might have ruined mine, Eddie.
Damn it. Right then, okay, so we're going to crack straight on. Let's crack straight on tonight with the prequels. Let me get my little banner up. There we go, to make it all official. Here we go. Right, we're straight in. So we're going to start with Eddie's first, his prequel this evening. I'm going to put you a minute on the clock. You can go either way, though. It doesn't matter. Are you ready?
Yes.
Away you go.
So this prequel is called The Incredible Adventures of Captain Muffdiver and His Big Rig. Michael Muffdiver is an ambitious young man. Not only is he exceedingly proud of his crotch, exhibiting it at every opportunity, but he's also a patriot. He signs up to protect the world from the scourge of communism, which he believes leads to undived muffs, and does a very, very bountiful tour of Vietnam. After saving his entire platoon from drowning in a muff by diving in and hauling them up one by one, so he gets the Medal of Honor. When he returns to the US, he starts driving a big rig. Sometimes he's driving goods, other times he's driving gasoline, etc. And he spends a lovely couple of decades on the road before some ungrateful women shoot at him a lot.
Okay,
that's
and that ties into the film there.
It overlaps into the film just a little bit, but yeah, it's largely prequelist. Yes.
Right, okay. So Mandy and Nat, you can ask Eddie a question if you'd like to put him on the spot about his movie. See if there's any flaws in that watertight pitch there.
Why, just off the top of my head, why were they ungrateful? The women.
Well, what he'd done was he decided to show them his crotch, which he's very, very proud of. And also, they didn't even stop to ask whether he had served his country.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but I saw a very inspiring sort of freedom protest recently in the United States, and I think that people should be a little bit more grateful when people stand up for what's right.
That's going to date this.
Not if my suspicions about the rest of this year are anything to go by.
Maybe.
Which is a very upsetting thought. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Nat, have you got a question?
Yes, I do. So this man is obviously very proud of his crotch. It's a very important part of his identity, I assume, and his life.
All the muff divers are crotch proud.
Yeah. So how, when he's in Vietnam and in those quite frightening and dangerous situations, is he protecting his crotch? Does he have some special armor? Does he put people in front of him at crotch height? Like,
just intrigued. He is the only serviceman in Vietnam who doesn't wear his helmet, which you're supposed to write your nickname on, put a playing card in, and a pack of Marlboros. He actually just sort of spent a lot of time just hammering that a bit flatter so that it fit over his crotch, and then strapping it around there.
Shape.
Sort of narrowing it, sort of bicycle seat sort of shape, so that he can well, he ends up corporal muff diver, of course, but when he starts out, it's a lot of battlefield promotions. But when young private muff diver goes out there, he comes back, his mind and body scarred, but his crotch pristine.
My favourite part of this whole story was Mandy's face when she heard what he was called. I'm just going to leave that there and let Mandy continue to say what she was saying.
Have you got?
Why was he protecting his crotch if he's Captain Muff Diver?
Well, because he keeps on pointing out his crotch to everyone. All of the muff divers. Yes, the muff divers are very, very proud of their crotches. There's also muff diver by nature, yes, but also by name. So he comes from a long line of muff divers.
I really need to explain it at this stage.
Right, okay.
I mean, the thing is that he even introduces himself as Captain Muff Diver, showing that he has reached a reason. He's an officer. He's reached the rank of officer in the U.S. military.
And they had to do any work they could when they came back, didn't they? Really, people. They got.
Do you know what?
They got the rough end of the deal, really. So driving makes sense.
He knew a guy from Queens. He was turning tricks. He ended up getting a sort of an unknown new disease in the 80s. He's known a lot of people, and he's just trying to put a brave face on it. And I don't know why. Ungrateful women who really could have done with a bath by that point of the film as well. I mean, they're a bit of lippy or something. I mean, come on.
She was going to put some lippy on, but she threw it away.
That's true. Yeah, no, she did. She did discard it. That is
right then. Okay, let's move on from that bombshell.
I know, I'm so pleased that the first show of 2021 was opened by Eddie talking about muff diving. Is that not the tone for the year.
You know, I mean, my New Year's resolution, I did think, oh, if only we could have some highbrow entertainment for once. Maybe this is the show to do that on.
No.
Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the one. And it wasn't, but it's fine.
No.
Nat, let's see what you've got. Your prequel, please. Right. Go for it whenever you're ready.
Okay, here we go. Ralph is only 8, but he loves his bike and being outside with his friends. His grumpy neighbour and her evil sister, on the other hand, hates kids and wishes they could make them all disappear. She makes a plan with her demented sister to catch all of the neighbourhood children and scare them so much they never go outside again. What follows is a montage of them grabbing kids, including Ralph, and doing various scary things to them, like forcing them to eat rich tea biscuits while watching documentaries on rug weaving and telling them that if they go outside again, they'll get worse. Ralph is forced into a small cupboard to date order cans of prunes while Daniel O'Donnell is on a loop outside of the cupboard, very loud. It gives him severe problems with pairs of women and tight spaces, but he eventually goes on to overcome his fears, become a police officer, dreaming one day he'll be able to show 2 women just how it's done. Unfortunately, as we know, he encounters 2 women later on in the film who force him into the boot of his car, and he's crying like he is because he's reliving his childhood fear of the evil neighbours and the prune cupboard.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Right then, Eddie and Mandy, you can ask Nat any questions you have about that one. I like that. The fact that this guy, his performance in the film, I did think when he was cowering, I thought it's a bit. He was asked to do that. That was another take. Where they've gone, can you look like you're absolutely petrified
Terrified.
for a reason? For a reason, they had a big, like you say. Yeah,
that's where I assume his motivation came from, his evil neighbour forcing him in a cupboard. Yeah. All
right, it makes sense. Yeah. Have you got any questions?
Is it possible that was the result of the actor rather than the performance? As in, that was like just an actor giving that performance because they were genuinely terrified, some sort of PTSD from a prune cupboard, or are you saying the actor is that actor was so good they gave you the genuine belief that was happening?
He was so good as I watched him sob and crumble that I thought there's got to be something deeper than the fact that he's on an empty road with 2 frankly very polite women who clearly didn't quite know what they were doing, shooting the wrong radios, taking his gun. At no point did they threaten to kill him. They put air holes in his trunk. So I'm thinking they're being very, I mean, there's a gun pointing at him, but they're being very nice about it. There's been no violence. Why on earth is he about to soil himself? And the only thing I could think of was that he must have got deep down in his subconscious some sort of acting method and created this backstory for his character that was so traumatizing that 2 women in particular shouting at him and forcing him into a closed space was what he couldn't deal with.
If I could just add another half question onto the back of that.
Absolutely.
Does it shine any light on the joint smoking cyclist who was included in this film for what reason? Just a guy who's apparently in the middle of a race as well. He's all in the Lycra. He's got a big fat fucking joint on, and then he's just like staring at this car going as if he's never seen one before. I just wondered.
I mean, that's a deleted scene right there, isn't it? You know, they cut a lot of stuff out and then they leave that in. It was so weird. I reckon they got to. I reckon they screened it and they went, "We need some more comic relief in here, Ridley. You know, can you put something on a bike smoking a joint?" And you know, it's not very funny.
I mean, it already felt a bit long to me. I felt like the last bit could have been much shorter, and all of those little law-breaking things they were doing could have come sooner in the movie. Just like people will be saying about this show later. Yeah, like
no one's going to be talking about this.
Eddie into a trunk before now, surely.
He didn't make that boot though, did he? He didn't say, he'd say, "Get me out." Maybe he did. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he just blew a load of smoke into it, and then we never found out any more than that. So apparently this cyclist, and he was in the clobber, it was full Lycra, and
maybe he's like down.
He was supposed to be in the middle of nowhere as well, so he'd cycled 50 miles whilst high. Sorry, it's just baffling. It's one of those mysteries that we'll never explain it. But okay.
I enjoyed that scene. I have to say, I liked
it.
Yeah.
Have you got a question?
I didn't just like it. I just wondered.
Have you got a question for Nat, Mandy?
I don't actually.
You don't have one? Oh,
no, I'm sorry.
No,
you don't have to. If it was fine, you don't have to have one. It's fine. But it's your turn now for your prequel. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Okay. I've had to write it down.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. It's 1960s America, a time of tumult. That is a lot happening. The civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, anti-war protests, etc. Gloria is a student at NYU. She finds herself pregnant and penniless. The pill hadn't been invented yet, and even if it had been, Gloria wouldn't have taken it because she believed putting chemicals in your body was wrong, unless it was Quaaludes or Speeds. So she had used a rolled-up copy of Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch. It had failed her. Because she hadn't had any morning sickness, she believed the baby to be a girl. If it had been a boy, surely it would have made her throw up. Most males did that to her. Usually, so she decided to keep being pregnant, only to give birth to a boy, whilst actually on a protest march. So she took this as a sign. She would make this baby understand women and feminism and the struggle. Instead of nursery rhymes, she read him all the great feminist tomes, from Mary Wollstonecraft to Andrea Dworkin. He cried a lot and didn't understand them, but pretended to be listening, like all men. But he got the gist of it. It had to be done. Baby Hal would change the world, but she would teach him to do it from the inside. The old ways were not working. To infiltrate the institutions of patriarchy from the inside. He joined the police. He was a nice guy, not a baddie, but he coasted and sometimes resented his mother for bestowing the legacy upon him. If he'd been badder, he would have made chief by now. He didn't make any progress in dismantling the patriarchy. If only he could do something to make his unshaven old ma proud.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, right. So tying that directly into Harvey Keitel's character there. Okay, right. Have you got a question then, Eddie, or Nat, for Mandy?
I'm just processing this. This is brilliant.
I really like it. The question I have is sort of rather surface level, I have to say, but because if I only found this out when looking at the cast list on Wikipedia, the detective's name is Slocum. So are we going to be? So is his mother ever referred to as Slocum? And is there any hilarious, say, department store related vagina jokes regarding her unruly feline pet?
Be very careful because my pussy is right here. So
yes, that's quite right.
No,
I don't know. Do we need to explain what you're referring to? Or do we?
Molly Sugden's character in Are You
Yeah. Do we need to say that? I don't know. So is there any reference to that, Mandy? Is that a tie-in?
Well, there's a lot of reference because in 60s America, that was like, the word pussy. Can I say that on here?
You can say whatever you want. Yeah.
They just
say whatever you want.
And the word pussy was used all the time. It was like, really cool. Like, so, like a neighbor might have just said, hey, Mrs. Slocum, how's your pussy today? They might have done. I don't know. I mean, it's very feasible.
I mean, I assume that because she's doing all the feminist stuff and she's going through all the feminist prose, she'll probably go through some feminist poetry as well. So I imagine there'll be bits where she could be reading to him like, my pussy is not an apology. And then it just cuts to a cat going, huh? like, and you're like, so you get the point, but you're also having a bit of fun because, come on.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. All right, then, fine.
As we all know, Harvey Keitel pops up in every single film looking exactly the same age as he has done for the past 30 years. So will you be casting Harvey Keitel as the younger Harvey Keitel?
Yeah, because he's never changed, has he?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
born looking like a middle-aged man, really. So he shot out of the womb looking sort of 45. So I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He shot out of the womb with an opinion on insurance. Some people do. It's just how it goes,
have a look then. So, right, that's the end of the prequel section. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you a quick recap, unless there's any more questions anybody wanted to ask about anybody's. Nope,
I'm
very
good.
Speak now, forever hold your peace. Right then, okay, so here were the prequels. Eddie's was The Incredible Adventures of Michael Muff Diver, I believe.
Captain Muff Diver, bit of respect.
Captain Muff Diver. He was in a platoon, and he saved all his platoon from drowning from a muff.
Yeah, he dived into the muff and pulled them all out.
Pulled them all out, as you do.
Yeah.
Then he started, after the war, he went and worked driving big rigs with various containers of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Nats was about Ralph, 8-year-old. He's on his bike going around. These two neighbors start catching loads of kids, scaring them. They grab them all. Ralph is shoved in a cupboard. You find out this Ralph is a police officer from Thelma and Louise later on, who gets thrown into the boot of the car, and he's terrified beyond reason. So that's his backstory fleshed out there for you. Mandy's was 1960s USA. It's in turmoil, obviously, at that time in the USA. Gloria is from NYU, pregnant and penniless. She's always going on protest march, big feminist. She has a baby boy. She decides to make him as feminist as she can when he grows up, and he joins the police force, and he tries to strike feminism into the hearts of everybody from the inside. And it's Harvey Keitel's character, the policeman Hal, who could have made chief if he'd have done a better job, but he didn't. So that's that. I think, right, it's time to vote then, so we can vote. You can vote in the comments if you're watching online as well after hearing those, and we'll vote each. We get one vote each in the room. So vote for your favourite. Where you go?
I'm going to vote for Mandy's. I like a 60s America sort of revolutionist kind of backdrop to a film, so that sounds like a fun one for me.
Yeah, cool. Me too. I'm also voting for Mandy, please. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to vote for Eddie, muff diving.
Well, I mean, when I wrote my prequel, I never expected it to be vote, so thank you very much. This is quite the year for me already.
Well, I'm going to actually vote for Nats, because I too, when I was watching it, had a thought about that copper and his performance. I've got to go for that one, because that would have been mine, to be honest. I'd have been like, what's that guy's story? So it's a bit quiet on the comments tonight. I've got to say, we've got people watching. They're just not commenting. If you want to vote along, do so as we go, guys. It's don't be ashamed. I know you might not want to put your pen to paper on here, but that's fine. So we'll just have to go. What we've got.
Is someone trying to steal the vote?
What do you mean?
Oh sorry, my God!
Oh, sorry.
God.
I was very
not more politics again.
I was very affected by last week. So
yeah. Stop. Right. Okay. Mandy, you've won that first round.
Oh.
Yay!
And you said you didn't know if you could do the show. I mean, come on.
No.
Come on now.
Come on. So easy.
Shut.
Guys.
Right. I mean, you know, we're all congratulating you there, Mandy, but I've got to say this. It's still all to play for tonight. You know, you could just get voted now. So don't celebrate too quickly. We're going to move on to the sequels now. It's all to play for. It's all to play for. Come on. Right then, we're going to go straight into this. So, Nat, you're going first this time. We'll switch you around a bit. Whenever you're ready to start your sequel off, you can go for it.
Thank you. JD isn't sure what to do next. He feels terrible that he stole two nice ladies' money and drove them to a robbery and explosion spree, which ultimately led to their deaths. He's more annoyed that they got caught more than anything. So he decides to open a school for thieves and robbers with the money, showing them how to do it with class and a nice ass, but not get caught. He does this in memory of the hot and steamy night he had with Thelma. The school becomes very successful and responsible for some of the most sexiest and politest robberies in America. Alas, Detective Hal has been keeping an eye on him, and he messes up JD's plans by getting a spy on the inside and taking the whole operation down. JD and his gang go to jail, his empire crumbles, but they all did it so politely. The end.
All right, cool.
So So would you? Oh, sorry. Can I?
No, you go for it. Ask your questions. That's fine. I'm just making me notes.
So
That's fine.
now, would you? So, who would you cast then? Would it be Brad Pitt again? I mean, he would.
I mean, he's a very good-looking chap. It's true, but I'm wondering if his ass will now stand up to comparison to his ass in Thelma and Louise, because it's a good ass in Thelma and Louise. I hate to objectify Brad Pitt down to his bum, but let's be honest, it's great. So I'm wondering whether we get a stunt bum in. So we keep Brad Pitt, but we actually have like a stunt ass for any time that he's got his back to the camera. Because if in Thelma and Louise, he had a very distinctive silhouette, didn't he? So I think we'd need to get somebody else in, I think, to do that.
Is there going to be a lot of ass work involved in this sequel?
I think there has to be, because Thelma pointed out how good it was. Yeah, I think there has to be.
Valid, yeah.
And the audition. Sorry, Eddie,
we all know that whenever there's a story about a specialist school, there needs to be a lot of ass shots in it. So
everybody knows that.
Like Harry Potter, all the other films, they were all full of Police Academy. It was just wall-to-wall buttocks. So happy New Year.
There's going to be a lot of like really cheeky things where Brad is writing something on the blackboard in his thief school, and he just sort of like looks over his shoulder, but he never turns around properly, so it's always there. The audition process is going to be, if you can crack a walnut with your ass cheeks, you're in.
So right, okay.
I don't know if that would get that. That would get by now.
I mean, yeah.
You just voted for Colonel Muffdiver. Are we seriously having this conversation?
I get it. Are you going back in time to make this film so you can do the audition process as it would have happened back then?
I mean, if I have to borrow Doc Brown's car and audition how I want to audition, then I'm willing to do that to get the right pair of buttocks for this movie.
Right, I see. Yeah.
At the thief school, is there going to be a bit where he says, I'm just going to take the register, and then runs off?
Yes, there is. Lots of laughs and japes.
That is a good joke, isn't it? That's a good one.
That's good.
There's going to be like an Oliver-style montage as well, where they all sing about picking pockets and consider yourself. And maybe we'll have a bit of that in there as well. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a musical
Oliver,
as well. Right.
It just
Oliver,
became a
but
musical
with like
right now.
southern accents.
Yeah, like Southern American Oliver. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Dolly's going to have a guest appearance.
Nice. Why won't she?
But there's nothing dirty going on.
Right, lovely. Okay, that was your questions, I think, wasn't it? That's good. Right, we'll move on. Mandy, it's your turn next for your sequel, please.
Interestingly, this sequel is called Malascuela. Thelma and Louise are running De Escuela de Mal Hombres in Mexico, literally a school for crap men, where men who learn things get splained all day, every day. They get taught to say things, how to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And never to say things like, you never told me that. Louise teaches them. Thelma is head of dominatrix department. They're also schooled in the art of shagging by JD. Thelma's one and only decent shag. He's the teacher of this because he's very good at it and young enough to be bossed about. He followed them to Mexico because Thelma told him that's where they were going. If they don't or won't learn, then Thelma pistol whips them or makes them eat rotten albondigas off her dirty boots. Thelma is now a total badass. She's in her power and can be heard shouting, I feel awake. I don't remember ever feeling this awake, but this is in the middle of the night. So it wakes everyone up and reminds them she's in charge. Taylor is mostly funded by drug cartels, who Jimmy, Louise's one and only true love, does side deals with. The school was a bit run down and shabby when they found it, so they sent Queer Eye for the straight guy round to Daryl's, Thelma's ex, who then became very good at accessorizing and home decor, and via Zoom he helped them to do a makeover. He was happy to do this as he is now in a serious relationship with Chuck.
Okay,
that answers a lot of questions, but brings up so many more.
Right, so that's your opportunity to ask away then. So Eddie and Nat, you can ask any questions you want.
Is there just going to be an episode of Queer Eye just in the middle of this film?
I think there should be. I think I saw that. I thought that. I just imagine, Queer Eye turning up at Daryl.
I mean, yeah, he's a prime candidate for them. Yeah.
He kind of reminded me. Do you remember Neil Buchanan from Art Attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it 80s or something?
You know, the 90s as well. Yeah.
It was all wrong, and he reminded me of Neil Buchanan. And I thought, if anybody needed to have a makeover, and if anybody needed to come out of the closet, you know, it was Darren.
Is that what you think Queer Eye does? It makes people over until they come out of the closet. It's not a covert ops thing. It's just
not like to catch a predator.
No, it's just like Jordan Peterson, but without the underlying fascism. It's just like have a wash and wear a nice shirt. Learn to cook.
Daryl is obviously gay. That's
fair enough then.
I just think Daryl is gay, and the fact, that he gets a makeover and gets to realise he loves cushions and throws, and you know, it makes him happy.
Is that where he goes when he's pretending to work late?
Yeah, I think so.
Because she's like, I won't be. She's like, why? Do people buy carpets at 8 p.m. on a Friday night? And he's all like, "Ooh, you, ooh." Yeah. And he gets all booked, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I just think, I just see a nice little vignette of Queer Eye going to knocking on Daryl's door, and.
Well, I'm all for it. I'm all for more Queer Eye. Absolutely, great.
So I've got 2 questions.
Okay.
The biggest one, honestly, being how did they survive the plunge in the car?
That's what I was going to ask as well. Yeah.
It's something of an oversight.
No. I think what it is that Jimmy really, you know, when he gives her the ring in the motel room, I think he realizes that he's never really been there for Louise, but you know, he realizes what he's losing, and he goes to Hal, and he says, "Look, you know, you see that these women have been done bad, and that they're really good girls, and that this is wrong. You know, they need to live. They need to go to Mexico. Lend me a chopper." And he gets a chopper.
Yeah.
And that chopper, you see, you know, just over the cliffs. That's Jimmy. And he parks on the ledge. Just down the cliff. And as the car goes over,
goes through the propellers, and
Jimmy tosses out a bungee.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and Thelma and Louise up into the chopper, and Jimmy takes to Mexico.
Right. Of course.
Okay.
Perfect crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know what to say to that.
You never see the car actually land or crash, do you?
No.
It's true. They ran out of money.
Yeah, it's frozen midair.
They had to stop filming.
Yeah.
But that was Jimmy in the chopper.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And you had another question?
It was just a very small question. I was just interested in what the is there going to be a man montage when they're training the men to like answer questions properly and be able to say phrases like "I'm sorry"? Like, can we see a montage of them doing that and getting it wrong and getting punished and then getting it right? Like,
we definitely would be, and there'll be there would just be bits of Thelma just, you know, whipping them, and
just bits of her, not the full Thelma.
Standing on
like close-ups. Yeah, all right, got you.
That's all I want to know. Brilliant, thank you.
Makes sense. Right, cool. Okay, Eddie, it's your turn for your sequel, please.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead whenever you're ready. Yeah.
Sure. So, a Polaroid picture lands at the feet of Detective Slocum. He's stock still. He can't believe it. That car just disappeared. Thelma and Louise open their eyes to find themselves in the presence of God. God tells them that they are being offered a chance to be avenging angels, equipped and charged only with the protection of the innocent and the need to punish the guilty. They gratefully accept and drive their ethereal motor around the mortal plane, ending the lives of pimps, warlords, and various shit men. Some may say that women are as bad as men, but they are wrong and stupid. Little do they know that Harlan Puckett has been promoted to Demon Captain in Hell, and their paths cross as Thelma and Louise pass very close to the Texas border. After minimal discussion and some of that hot-headed jumping to decisions that we witnessed in the first film, they level Texas with an angelic nuclear bomb and Harlan in it, and everyone claps.
All right. Ask away with your questions then. Mandy and Natalie, you can ask Eddie what you want.
Yeah, I do have one. Like, do we get to see any of Harlan's fight to the top? Because obviously he gets to that point where he, what did you say he was again? He was like he
was like a sort of a captain of a
like
I don't know why I've been giving military titles to people in my films this week, and I'm not sure why I have.
And you've been promoting him the captain, like all of them.
Yeah. This one's yeah. Well, he basically he sort of It's like if because it's sort of it starts off because so many people go to hell in this version of it. You get sort of thrown into a big pit to deal with, and if you haven't managed to climb out of that pit after a certain length of time, a couple of millennia, then you're just hauled out and stabbed up and, have all of the punishments and stuff. But if you manage to claw your way out there, fighting over all the other damned, then suddenly a demon or two might go, hey, this one might be worth converting to demon. And obviously we know that Harlan Puckett is a really horrible piece of shit. So... life in hell actually is pretty good for him, so he ends up so it's sort of it's like that.
Okay, like that, thank you. Yes.
All
right, cool. Mandy, have you got a question already?
No, I don't. Sorry. No.
It's all right.
It's all right.
You don't apologize. It's fine.
What do I always say to our guests on this show?
You're shit. Oh, no.
No, I say, thanks for coming on. No, I always say, never apologise.
You do, actually. You do
say never all the time.
That's
never
true. He's not changing that one this year. That one's staying.
Oh, that's on the other side of the mug. One side of the mug says never apologise. The other side will say, it's all to play for.
It's actually me and Eddie he calls shit. He waits until the cameras are gone off and then he shouts at me and Eddie.
I go, what was that about, guys? Come on.
All of you at home, as soon as we've said, because we come off the live and then we're there in our 4 little boxes and we say, oh, thank you very much, guests. Thank you very much for coming on. Oh, it was good fun. And we'll do that later as well. That will happen tonight. And then the guests will go, oh, thank you so much for having me. Words to that effect. Anyway, I'll see you later. They'll click off and Chris will be like, I could have died with embarrassment the way you behaved in front of my guest this evening. I didn't know where to look.
Well, I'm tying up my arm.
Didn't know where to look. He's just and then he gets so angry and full of heroin.
I do.
You can't do both, surely.
Yeah, apparently Chris can take heroin and stay angry. That's how rage-filled the man is.
You can get angry while you're preparing the heroin, but not
while
you're Once you have it, you sort of you do tend to let things go.
That's right, Right then, let's do some voting.
We're always driving Chris to heroin. I don't know why.
Right then, let's do your quick recap on your sequels then. Here we go. Don't forget to vote along in the comments when you hear these. Okay, Nats was JD. Feels bad about stealing the money off the 2 ladies, our 2 leads. So he opens a school for thieves and robbers. And they trains them in the art of robbing places sexily and politely.
Do it with class. Do it with class with a nice ass.
Class with nice ass, that was it. And they commit like big robberies in the USA. Hal, meanwhile, gets a spy on the inside, and it's all a musical.
It was a last-minute revelation where everything became a musical.
Mandy's was, what was the title of yours, Mandy? I've missed it all. I put Escuela down.
Well, it's Malice Escuela, bad school.
Right, okay, got you. Right, this was a school for crap men, basically. Thelma and Louise survived after a bungee cords and a helicopter, organised by Hal.
I love that.
Organised by Hal and MacGyver.
And Jimmy.
And the A-team.
They teach guys how to be better, basically, in this school, and also JD teaches shagging lessons. The whole school is funded by by Mexican drug cartel, which is organised by Jimmy. He's got his connections there. He sorts that out for him. Nice of him. And then as a subplot, there's a Queer Eye episode that goes to Daryl's house to make it over, and then he gets married, I think, at the end of it.
Yeah.
To a lovely guy. Eddie's sequel was there's a Polaroid at the feet of Hal. Is that right?
Yeah.
And the car is like the car. Yeah, the car's disappeared. Where's it gone? We find out it's with God, basically. Thelma, and not just a car. Thelma and Louise are in heaven with God. He says you can be avenging angels for me. I'm going to send you to right the wrongs, basically, in your phantom car, or whatever you call it, angelic or whatever.
It was ethereal, but close enough.
Ethereal. There you go. I like that ethereal car. And they have a big showdown with Harlan, who's a demon captain in hell, and they level Texas with a bomb.
Yeah, that like an angelic bomb. Yeah, they level it with bomb. A big righteous explosion.
So, okay, apocalypse type thing. Right, cool. Okay, so vote along if you in the comments there. It's very quiet on the comments tonight, but we'll vote in the room anyway. We'll go for that. Let's do it. Let's do it.
This is tough because they're both really, really good.
I'm going for Natalie because I just want to see good guns.
Just that arse work. That's all you want.
Yeah, I want to not crack a buttocks before.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get to see. I want to see more of that, and if it's Brad Pitt's, all the better. Really.
Sure, it's a compelling argument.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that Nat,
you know.
Also, Nat's deathbed conversion to it being a musical, but for the fact that because I'm imagining Mandy's as being filmed like a Sam Peckinpah film, like it's sort of quite rough and ready and sort of being set in Mexico and stuff. So I'm enjoying that with a 50-minute Queer Eye episode in the middle, and I can't keep away from that, so I'm voting for Mandy.
Okay, lovely.
I think I'm going to vote for. Oh, this is really hard. I think I'm going to vote for Eddie this time because I'm really thrilled about the idea of them becoming avenging angels and us finding out that they get to continue to put their wrath around different.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's tricky this because you've all got one vote each now, so I'm the decider vote here because we haven't got any in the comments. I'm gonna vote for Eddie's actually. I'm going with what I'd like to. Now, Mandy's nearly had me with the bungee jump thing, I've got to say. Because I would like to see that visualised on screen. Just the explanation of that. But it was after the pitch, so it was after the pitch. So I'm going to go for Eddie's because I like the idea of the Avenging Angels. Yeah, there you go. So, which means Eddie is the winner of that round. So it's all to play for still tonight. It's all to play for as we move into the requels. It's all to play for.
That was 48 minutes and 15 seconds for anyone who was wondering when Chris was going to say it's all to play for. So
I said it already.
Won the sweepstakes. Send us a message.
He said it on the last one.
I said it ages ago.
Because he was going to put it on the other side of the mug. Remember?
We've also talked about Police Academy as well already tonight, which usually takes.
He said it. He said it in context.
Yes.
It's true. Right then, let's get on to the requel. So this is reboots, reimaginations, whatever you want to do with it. We're going to go with Mandy first this time to mix it up a bit. Are you ready with your requel?
I am. Okay, this is called Everything is Still Shit. And it's about, 2022. We live in a dystopian post-feminist world. We know this because Gemma Collins has declared a post-feminist. Feminism, as we know it, has been cancelled. You have to change your name by default if you have first or second name of feminist from before times. So like, for instance, Gloria or Jermaine, or especially if you're called Emmeline Pankhurst. Shaving is the law, and most areas have checkpoints. Your underarms will be checked. The length will be measured longer than 0.5 centimetre and will be publicly shaved. Women will be tested randomly to make sure that they find the most unfunny man funny. For example, Dominic Cummings will do jokes for you, or Russell Brand will do winking. Celeb mag Chuzzle, which paparazzi pics of ordinary women caught without their tashes waxed or taking the wheelie bin out at midnight with no makeup on. There will also be checkpoints to see if intelligence levels are too high, which, as everyone knows, makes men's willies floppy. Underground leaflets are passed around, women outlining the appropriate responses in case you're stopped. For example, if you are asked, "What day is it, madam?" respond either, "It's a glorious day to get a wash on the line," or, "Oh, since the lobotomy, I've lost all track of time." Many women are driving themselves off cliffs, so distressed have they become. But as they are not allowed to drive and cars are made with sensors that detect small feminine hands on the steering wheel, this is not an option.
Wow, that is dark.
Okay, I might need help with that on the recap because you were going so fast. I hardly got all of it down. Right, but
that was info heavy, wasn't it?
It was. My pen was smoking. Right then. So, questions for Mandy there? If you've got one, Eddie, on that.
Yeah. Do we find out what historical or world event triggered this rejection of feminism and the expectation that women should have an ideal look and hairless, an intelligence level?
I think they're probably. I think probably it's a combination of things. I think, just everything is shit, and it's going to get a bit shitter, isn't it?
Is it the fact that Sex and the City is due to come back without Kim Cattrall, but the rest of the original cast? Because I imagine that's probably going to be quite seismic culturally.
Yeah, that might be triggering. That might be one of the triggers. Yeah,
that was announced today. Yeah,
was it? Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was announced today.
Would anybody lose sleep if it didn't come back at all? I mean,
I never saw it.
Just the three people who have been hired from the original one. They go, no, I think it is a good idea to bring it back.
I mean, it had a good run, didn't it? It had a good run.
Oh, it was very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Second movie messed it up, I think. Yeah.
I never saw it.
Apparently so.
I didn't. I never watched an episode.
Although, if you want to see a brilliant movie review, watch Mark Kermode reviewing Sex and the City 2. He's one of the angriest people you'll ever see. It's incredible. It's well worth watching. It's about 7 minutes, and he's changed by the end of it.
Oh,
yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
The actual movie, anyway.
Yeah.
So, just things are not good, and it's only going to get worse, really. And celebrity culture, and the fact that we're living in these shallow, ridiculous times. So I just think it will be, and if we keep having this government in power, and things are just going to get shittier, and feminism will be in the bin.
Anyway, let's keep the laughs rolling.
Wow.
I won't mention the Twin Towers or anything.
Well, you have now.
Let's quick talk about Police Academy again. Oh my God! Right, any more questions?
Sniffing glue.
Any more questions?
No.
Nope. Right. Okay. Let's move on then. Eddie, it's your turn for your Requel. Away you go.
Well, I initially thought I would make a film called Thomas and Louie, and then I was going to have it starring Tommy Chong from the Cheech and Chong films and Louis Spence from Pineapple Dance Studios. But I thought that would be too good a film to waste on everyone. So what I'm going to do instead is remake it, but I want it to be made more like early Ross Meyer's work, like Faster Pussycat, Kill Kill. I want sort of more fetishizing the car while it's being driven. I want a lot more aggression. I don't want the girls to be sort of defending themselves. I want them to be going out looking to cause a massive amount of bother. And so I want it more 60s exploitation style. That's what I would do, because then we'd have the original and we'd have a much more sort of grindhousey remake of it. So that's what I'd like.
All right. Fair enough. Right then. Questions then, Mandy and Nat. Go for it.
Still, who would you cast then as the two women?
I would absolutely love to cast Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis now at their ages now.
Right. Okay.
Because then you've got. I mean, you could make it nunsploitation, which is super sleaze. So you could have them as with the Mother Superior and a Reverend Mother from a nunnery or something like that, or you could just have them exactly the same setup. Susan Sarandon playing a waitress, just slinging hash and coffee, and Gina Davis in a sort of a loveless, apparently beard style marriage, according to some of the prequel. But but have them and having them as older women would be interesting as well. So yeah, I would if they wanted to. I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
My question is about soundtrack. So exploitation movies generally have quite a specific sound to them. Like, are you going to go for a similar soundtrack feel, or are you going to
a lot of 60s garage rock?
Yeah,
like the Sonics and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a sort of very sleazy, a lot of driving rhythms on like tom drums, like doom doom boom 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 ding ding down 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 down. So I've got a bit of a surf vibe to it, like a sort of a dirtier, grimier version of like the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, that kind of thing, but without the smooth crooning, with a lot more sort of like the Trash Man and stuff like that.
Amazing. Okay,
Stooges, MC5, that kind of vibe.
And who would direct it? Who would be the director?
Ang Lee. No, I don't know. I don't know. That is a good question. I mean, would Ridley be able to do it? Probably not. Maybe.
Might be able to. Yeah, I have to ask him.
Yeah, he might be able to. I was trying to remember which of the Scott brothers had passed away, but
Tony Scott.
Yeah,
Tony Scott.
Yes, which is a great shame because I liked his work as well. But I think Ridley would like to do it. I wouldn't want Tarantino to do it, even though you go, hey, you want exploitation in Hollywood? Go and see him. No, I don't want him. But maybe Robert Rodriguez could probably pull it off as well.
We could have Rodriguez music in it as well.
Well, yeah, he knows his music. I'm sure he could put some stuff in there, especially if we, because in my one they wouldn't end up dying; they would go to Mexico. So yeah, if you want some traditional Mexican flavor, then Rodriguez is your man. So yeah,
cool.
I took this one far too seriously because I really like that kind of film. Got really fucking studenty about it.
Right, lovely. Requel then, Natalie, please. Your turn. The last Requel. Here we go.
Okay, so I want to keep the plot very similar, but I want to set it in the UK, and I want Gemma Collins to play Louise, and I want Joey Essex to play Thelma, and I want them to end up going on like a shopping trip together, and then they shoot a poor person who tries to force feed Gemma an Iceland chicken nugget. That's where the murder happens. And then they go on a mad spree where they rob a Tesco Express. They're going to blow up an Marks and Spencer supply truck on the M25. They head to Beachy Head in East Sussex and they drive off there. That's what I want to
do at Beachy Head.
Yeah. So I want like The Only Way is Essex vibe with Joey and Gemma set in the UK. Yeah, and everything that would come with that.
All right, cool. Okay.
I do have a question. For God's sake, why?
I mean, I've never watched an episode of The Only Way is Essex.
Do you know what? You'd be loaded if you made this. People would lap it up.
That is true. Yeah. If your answer is payday, then fair enough. Yeah.
Throw Mrs. Brown's boys, Mrs. Brown in the back seat, and you'll the quid's in.
Yeah, Mrs. Brown could maybe just keep popping up as different characters along the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could. Every single person they kill could be James Corden.
Now you're just giving points away. You give, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You can't have that now because it was Eddie's idea. We can't do it.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
get all
fine.
the points. You get all the points if that's in there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
To be honest, I'm amazed that I won one round of this. So whatever happens now, I don't care. Have the points. Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with Chris. I do think people would watch it. It would be a train wreck. It would be awful. It would go down in history as being one of the worst films ever made, but you'd make a lot of money off of it. And
could you make it as
absolutely gold?
Could you actually make it as a documentary and then rig the pedal at the end?
Probably.
Make it like The Only Way is Essex. Have it
it actually happens at the end. Just like the crew's all there and it just goes boom off the end and
like that. Oh my god, literally it won't stop. Literally the car is not stopping.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Would they notice if they died though?
And both of them.
No. She wouldn't notice if she died. She'd be at the bottom of the cliff talking about how it's messed up a vajazzle and do you know what I mean? Like her hair's messed up.
These people don't seem clever enough to die.
I mean, was she the one who went on I'm a Celebrity? It was, wasn't it? She refused to get in the helicopter.
Yeah,
she won't go anywhere near helicopters. She won't go near a car. You've got a problem there because you're going to need stunt doubles.
I think
especially when the bungee scene comes in.
I think that would be a problem.
I'll get her in there. I'll just pay a lot. I mean, I'm willing to spend a lot of money getting her in that car if it means I can drive her off Beachy Head.
All right.
Or drop her and get her.
Any more questions for Nat on that one? Have you got a question, Mandy?
No, I think it's. I think it's just genius. I think it's brilliant. I think we're going to do this, and we're going to make shed loads of money.
Right. Let's get to the voting. Let's get to the recaps on the voting. Eddie, you've got a quick message here from Austin Rigo. Night is complete. January cupcake. Isn't that lovely?
Oh,
that is nice. I don't really know what it means, but hi.
Yeah.
That sounded nice, though, didn't it? It didn't sound unpleasant, so cool.
No. Right then, it's time for the vote. So I'll do you a quick recap of these ones. The requels were Mandy's was Everything is Still Shit. This is a bit of a comment on how things are at the moment. Gemma Collins, first mention of the evening. So let me get this right because I lost this a bit because you were talking so fast. She's the one responsible for cancelling feminism. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So shaving is now the law. This is what I've wrote down. Testing people for funniness. You're getting taxed for loads of weird stuff. There's tests for intelligent levels. There's lots of women trying to drive off cliffs, but they can't do it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed
speaking,
to drive.
yes.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to drive. Right. Okay. If you're just joining us, welcome to Misogyny Weekend. Right. Okay. Eddie's was a remake. It was going to be a remake, and it's basically like Russ Meyer's films. Loads of fetish stuff, more aggressive nature all round, more bother. I've put, as you said, more bother.
Yeah.
60s exploitation film, and it's going to be Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis again, maybe playing nuns. We don't know.
Maybe nuns, but possibly just playing those characters. Yeah,
but definitely packing heat.
Yeah.
Natalie's was Gemma Collins again and Joey Essex. They shoot a poor person basically, and then they rob Tesco and do some other stuff before they decide to drive off Beachy Head.
Yeah.
It's got an Only Way is Essex vibe, obviously, and all that, and we don't know if it's going to be a documentary style now, which really happens. Right, okay, so vote. If you're watching online, you can vote now or forever hold your peace, and we'll vote in the room as well. So, geez, it's pretty tricky, this one.
I like both of those a lot. I like Nat's and Eddie's. I love an exploitation movie. I can imagine the soundtrack. I'd love to see Gina and Susan now, packing heat. I think it would be great. I'd love to see that movie. I'd also like to see Natalie's a lot.
Right, okay.
Pick somebody else and I'll think.
I think I'm going to vote for Nats.
Mm.
And the reason I'm doing this is because You know, whenever Charlie Brooker describes what he thinks television's going to be like in 10 years' time, where it's like genuine, like just actual murder and no one's going to bat an eyelid, I think Nat might have made the first film that kicks off that trend, making a worse future than Mandy foresaw in her Requel. And just for how prophetic that might be, I'm voting for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's not a coincidence that Gemma Collins pops up twice tonight.
Yeah.
True.
I think there's something.
I mean, she'll be pleased for a start. She'll be pleased.
There's only one thing worse than being talked about.
Yeah, so I think she'd do it. I think she'd do anything for a chicken nugget. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, just describing.
Sure.
So I think I'm going to go for Nats, and I think it would do well at the box office. And
well, for that reason as well, what we talked about a bit ago, I'm going to vote for Nats as well, because I think I could see it getting made as well. Yeah. That's the trouble. That is the trouble with it. It's a nightmare. You've got a clean sweep, Nat, across the board there. You got all of the. I know you got it for. Yeah.
I'm really struggling because they're both quite dark, but I think I genuinely did love them both, and I can imagine Eddie's feeling quite steamy and hot, but just because you also talked about Gemma Collins, I'm going to go for Mandy. That they were both so good that it just came down to Gemma Collins.
You both mentioned a woman you clearly despise. Both of you. I know very little about her.
Don't ever try find out.
I'm not going. I'm not. Nothing she's been in was made for me, so I didn't. No one made that with me in mind, so. I will not.
She made that documentary, Finding Eddie French, with Gemma Collins. She came out of your house.
Yeah, well.
He ain't a what? Get me an helicopter.
I do one thing I do know about Gemma Collins. I don't know much. I don't even know what she became famous for, but I do know. I actually read somewhere that she's had a front bottom lift. Oh. I know.
Where was it before?
Beachy Head. I don't know.
It fell off Beachy Head and she had it brought back up. It's amazing what they can do these days, isn't it? these science bods.
See, there's an image I'm not going to be able to get out of my head now.
No.
Yep.
Does it look surprised now? Like when people have a facelift? Does it always look slightly shocked?
Oh dear. Gemma, if you're watching, Gemma Collins, allegedly.
Allegedly Collins. Is it? We don't believe that's her name now.
It's all a bit of fun. It's all a bit of fun, Gemma.
If you're watching,
I'm gonna Google this.
Google it.
Google it. Find out what she's famous for as well while you're at it.
We've turned into a gossip show. We used to be about films.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that she had a fanny fit job.
Current affairs, isn't it?
True.
Right then. All right. Well, at the end of that round, basically, Nat, you've won. So well done, you.
What? Woo! Thank you very much.
Clap. Which means another case of everybody has won a round this evening. No. It's only happened a few times in the history of this show, but it's even. So you're all winners tonight, and there's only one winner, and that's me.
That's Gemma Collins. What a way to start the evening. Yeah.
Yeah. Gemma Collins has lost big time tonight. She has.
Although, to be fair, Gemma Collins has had quite the Sophie's choice this evening because, which of these two excellent projects does she want to agree to? Because you can only have one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, them offers are going to come onto the table at the same time, and she's going to have
Yeah.
And she might need a drawstring putting in a bummer or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever this underwear surgery she's been having, I don't know.
Who knows?
Oh, it's a bit sad, actually. It's a bit sad with Jem. She's lost 2.5 stone. She's had everything lifted, pals, not just a fanny. Everything done.
It's all gone up.
It all happened because she split up with a boyfriend, and then he made some really horrible comments on social media about her weight. So there you go.
Now, don't we feel like pricks?
I mean, to a certain extent, yes.
Fanny did look great.
Do you know what? I've always said I like her.
I know.
She speaks very honestly, Chris.
As soon as Chris wakes up, the alarm goes off. 6:30, bright and early. He hits the alarm clock and goes, "Oh, I tell you what, I've always liked that Gemma Collins." And he goes downstairs, has his breakfast.
In my Gemma Collins bowl.
Yeah, Gemma Collins. He reads another chapter of My Heightened Fanny and Me by Gemma Collins, and
Gemma Collins onesie.
Yeah, does this Gemma Collins workout DVD? I assume she's got a workout DVD.
They've all got one now. It's part of the deal.
And they've all got one. It's all part of the deal, isn't it? Yeah. You get a book, you get a ghost-written novel, but that's only if you're Jordan big, and then you get a workout DVD and a go on Peter Andre. Peter Andre is looking really tired.
Everyone's had to go on Peter Andre.
I just sang some cod reggae in the 90s.
Even Chris has had to go on Peter Andre, Mandy.
Have you, Chris? That's what he said.
Chris never kisses and tells.
He's having a new rule. Yeah, the rule that says we're not allowed to talk about Chris. Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about Chris's former relationships. That's a new rule.
Right then, cool. So we're at the end of the show. Well done to you all this evening. You all won. What a lovely show to come back on. Where you all won around. Isn't that beautiful?
Thank you, Mandy.
If only everybody in life could be a winner.
I thought we've got somebody, from Harrogate in, and it's going to lift the tone.
Yep.
It did.
It's going to lift the communal vagina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you still got snow, Mandy, in Harrogate? Is it still snowing or not?
It's gone. It's completely gone.
No.
Oh, it's gone. Oh dear. No fun on the stray for you now. Right then, we better wrap the show up. So, first of all, thank you very much to Mandy for coming on as our special guest.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming and doing it. Thanks as always to our regular panelists, Eddie and Natalie there. Well done to you. You don't get a clap because you're here every week.
The novelty
only our special guests. Only our special guests get a clap. You know that. We'll talk about this after the show. Right then, so let's do some plug-ins. So
it's another heroin evening.
Mandy, have you got anything to plug? Anything you'd like to tell anybody about?
I'll be appearing in my living room again tomorrow in my onesie.
Oh,
about
Collins onesie.
At 10 o'clock. I'll be having a at about 11.
Nice.
And I'm popping to Asda at 1 if anybody wants to say hello.
Oh, and you're going to live stream all that?
I'm going to live stream it, yes.
Live stream round Asda.
But Chris, thank you very much for asking.
Oh, that's all right. Are you batting down going to Asda, by the way? I thought it were Waitrose all the time.
Oh, times are hard. Things are shit. I just told you that.
Yeah.
No money anymore for Waitrose.
Well, you'll be in our
I have to spend my money at Associated Dairies.
Good God, man. Right then. Nat, have you got anything to plug?
Well, not right now, but now I've got this brand new laptop, which literally I am using for the first time right now. Hopefully by next week, I will have something to plug.
Oh, does that mean your channel's coming, your YouTube channel?
Yeah, hopefully by next week. Oh
my God, that's exciting.
I want to do what Eddie suggested, which is get a bit of content up front and then get it out by the next week or the week after.
Oh, that is exciting. Well, we'll look forward to hearing about that. Eddie, what have you got for us this week?
IC News has just returned, and Fire Breathing Kittens is on as well. I was in an adventure called Quote for the Cover that was released within the last week or so that's quite close to the top. Also, I'd like to plug next week's show because it's going to be quite a treat. I don't know if Nat knows what we're doing, and I think it'll be funny for us to see her reaction to it because it's a
live
series
reaction.
of films.
It's like a trailer reaction.
She's very fond of this series of films. We're doing Carry On Camping, and yep, and we're doing it. our special guest is stand-up comedian and barber Will Hodgson, who is a huge fan of the Carry On films and a professional comedian that you might have seen from Telly and stuff. So, yep.
So
that's going to be... We're doing Carry On Camping, yes.
So that's the film and the show for next week, 8 o'clock on Monday night, as always.
Great.
So we'll look forward
to I'm so excited.
Now we've told you, you can all find it and give it a watch before then, and be up on all of the little details and nods to all the special bits in there.
Does this mean that we're going to see impressions next week, guys?
I can't imagine.
I'd say so.
Maybe.
I mean, it has all of the main, as Chris pointed out, it has all of the Carry On stalwarts except for, is it Jim Dale?
Jim Dale's not in yet. He was going to play the coach driver, but he turned it down. Yeah.
Weird.
But it has every other Carry On big hitter in there, so...
We'll talk about that more next week, obviously. Right, any other things to plug, Eddie, before we go?
You can go and buy my digital 7-inch on Bandcamp if you like, Bandcamp/Eddie French, and you can get my 2-track single, I suppose, 7-inch that I released just before Christmas, if you're at all interested.
Cool. Okay, lovely. As far as I'm concerned, let's have a look. Tuesday, tomorrow night, my radio show on Box Office Radio, What's the Score, where I play soundtrack scores. Have a listen to that if you want. There were a technical hitch last week, so I've had to put last week's show onto this week, so there'll be tracks from Mary Poppins and things like that. You might enjoy it, you Disney fans out there. And then Saturday, I've got a geek show. It's All Geeks to Me. It's All Geek to Me with Rich Gittins, Nathan Webb, Saturday at 8 o'clock for that. We're doing episode 2, Attack of the Clones. We're doing a rundown of that old classic. And other than that, Discount Comedy Checkout, which we are all involved in. We're going to be starting up a podcast very soon that we'll tell you more about when we do it. So look out for that as well. And that's it. So next week, we'll see you back here, 8 o'clock. Please do come and join us for Carry On Camping. We'll be back. Other than that, thank you for watching. We'll see you again. Thank you. And good night, everybody.
Thank you.